Alright, so what's going on, guys? The tripod's already packed up and ready to go. I'm moving. In case you didn't know that, say it one last time. This Sunday, I'll be moving. So a good 2 weeks after that, the videos will probably start rolling out. So before I end up, moving and taking a couple weeks off here, wanted to do one last video. Got some pickups. I dropped off a bunch of clothes that I didn't wear anymore to Goodwill. Happened to check to see if there was games in there. Sure enough, there was an exclusive for the 360 that I've been looking for quite some time. Not rare at all. Just so old that you don't see it very often. And pretty excited to find it. It's the last in the series. I'd like to see Microsoft bring it back, but who knows if they ever will. That's Amped 3. Complete copy. Nice shape. Very excited to find that. And I asked the guy, I was like, well, how much is that? $4 or $5? And he goes, it's actually $2. So I was like, alright, I'm cool with that. So, alright, so then I got another package from NIS America. Got quite a few things here from them. And I do have one more package from them coming, I want to say August or September. And that's a good box of stuff that's coming. So the way they do their pre-orders is you can order as much crap as you want at one time. But the last thing that's dated to come out is when they will ship all your stuff per that order. So that's why some of these are like super, not super old, but they're older, and I just am now getting them. So this is, I have no idea what this little dude's name is, but it's like one of those little squishy ball guys, but it's like a character. So that goes with this game, which I'm actually very excited to play, because this falls into the series of, I don't honestly know how to say the name, but the first one was Firefly Diary, the second one was something else, and this is the third one, and this is called A Rose in the Twilight. So this is a Vita game. I don't get a lot of Vita games, but the cool games like this, which intrigue me, I do end up getting, and this is now the third special edition that I have for that series. And I believe, so the last one that came out came with Firefly, and the second one, they're like spiritual sequels to each other. I don't think there's actually a link between them. I don't know yet. Each one of the games I've only ever ended up playing like a third of the way through, and then I give up. But this summer I'll be changing that with the Backlog Summer Challenge, and I'll get touch on that here at the end of the video. So A Rose to Remember Twilight. Really excited to play this. Haven't even cracked it open yet because there's really no point since I'm moving. Both my Vitas are already packed up. Alright, now we got a PS4 game. So this one's Claudin Returns. This is Sengoku. PS4 action game. There's the back and the front. Since I won't be opening these until I get home. Actually, wow, that's some seriously awesome artwork on the back of there. I know the lighting's bad, but that is some awesome artwork on that. So I might do unboxings of these if you guys leave me feedback saying you want that. So obviously that's a samurai game, so it came with this sweet little sword. Figured that's kind of cool, and it was free anyway. So, and the last one is something that I'm iffy about if I'll actually like, but I wanted to give these a shot. I ordered Danganronpa 1 and 2 limited edition, and I already got that a week or two ago. And this is Danganronpa, or this is Ultra Despair Girls Danganronpa Another Episode. So this one, I don't know, this could be really one of those strange Japanese things with young girls in it. So I don't know, this could be kind of a weird game. But nonetheless, I'm excited to try that, see if I like it, and that, I guess this came with Twilight to Remember, or A Rose, Twilight to Remember as well, this little keychain thing. So that's kind of cool. So to touch on the contest, we do have one entry into it, and I'm going to give this guy a shout out because he certainly deserves one. He's newer to the YouTubes. His name's Pillar of Conflict, so I'll leave a link in the description for his channel. Cool dude. He's actually doing a playthrough of Dante's Inferno for, I think he's playing it for the 360, but it is available on the PS3, which I have as well. I bought it many years ago, well not many, but probably a year or two ago, with the intention of playing it because I remember seeing a friend play it a long time ago and I really digged it. It's kind of Devil May Cry-ish, Bayonetta-ish, medieval, not medieval, but kind of, I think, well, obviously you go into hell and this and that, but I don't know the story yet. I've watched a few of his Let's Plays. They're good videos. He's got good content. I was encouraging him to do some collection videos, so hopefully he'll start doing that. So he picked his 5 games for the contest. I can't honestly remember what they are off the top of my head, but I hope to see more videos about that from him. And so like I said, link in the description for his channel. And if nobody else enters, then I guess Pillar of Conflict, you just win automatically. So you just need to play the games. Even if you don't beat them at this point, you just need to play them for 5 minutes each and just let me know that you played them, and then you're going to win the contest. However, the contest still has another 2 months and like 3 weeks. It's August 22nd is the last day. So whoever wins by then, whether you do by default because you're the only one that entered, or if you finish your games first, that's fine. So another thing that I was debating on putting in the video was I shot a little teaser trailer for the OG Xbox exclusive set. I don't know if I'm going to put that in this video or if I'm going to wait, but what I wanted to ask my viewers was how I should shoot the collection, how you guys would like to see it. There's 3 options here. I think to the accurate list, it's about 201 games, give or take a few. It's definitely 200 plus, but I think it's 201. Nico and I need to recheck our master list that we built for the exclusives. He's very close as well. He's like 15 or less away. I'm pretty sure I'm 6 to 8 games away, give or take. So very close. It's going to happen within the next month or 2. All the games I need now are super cheap. So with that being said, the 3 options that I could shoot the videos in would be an alphabetical type thing where I do A, B, C in a video, and then I do D, E, F in a video, and then, you know, so forth. Or I could just break them into, you know, a 3-parter, or I could just shoot like a 4-hour fucking video, or realistically the third choice is I just do it however I feel like it. So I'm gonna leave I don't really know how. I guess, you know, whichever comment gets, or whichever way you guys want me to do it gets the most, you know, replies on the comments of how you want to see it done is how I will do it. And if nobody has any opinion on how I should do it, I'll just do it the way I feel like doing it. And I was thinking the alphabetical way would work nicely just because just off the top of my head, I know there's a lot of S games, there's a lot of C games, there's a lot of I think there's only like 1 or 2 P games, there's only a few J games, there's a lot of O games, there's a lot of, I don't think there's a lot of T games from the Tom Clancy series and, you know, that kind of stuff. So with that being said, that's why you could, you know, just be, you know, like if I were to do an S and a T, that would be like one video because that would be a huge video. There's probably 30 games between all the S titles and the T titles in the exclusive set. So I don't know. That was just an idea I was bouncing off the top of my head. I did shoot the teaser. The teaser will probably won't be in this video. It'll probably be the first video of me coming back after I unpack all my stuff. Will be my teaser trailer. With that also being said, as soon as the Xbox exclusive set's done, I'm going to be cranking out reviews for these games. I have been so into the channel and just trying to make content so much lately and just trying to get it out at least Sundays and Wednesdays like I usually do. I've been putting out 3 or 4 videos a week. Like I don't know, I'm just really loving making the videos, and you guys are finally interacting more, which I really love. So, you know, I just been trying to put more time and effort into the channel. The channel's growing. I think I'm almost at 300. I'm at 295, so that's exciting. And you know, if the channel ever grows to be a huge channel, like I doubt it, but if it does, I'll remember the humble beginnings and all the people that were actively communicating with me at the beginning. So don't think I'll forget you guys. Not, you know, more than likely it'll never become a huge channel, and I'm fine with that. Like my main goal was to get to like 1,000 and just like make some Xbox Live friends, make some other YouTuber friends, which I have. Hav, Fred, I talk to them pretty regularly. I mean, I was just talking to Hav, like, or not Hav, Fred, Bad Company, I don't know, like 10 minutes ago. He was just, you know, just talking about stuff, and I talked to Hav about the Wii U collection pretty regularly. You know, so, you know, I'm enjoying making the content and making friends, and you know, after I move, I'll probably make a dedicated video of how you guys can, you know, like my Switch friend code, my Xbox Live code, my PSN, my Steam code, my Origin code, my Uplay code, my Blizzard code, all sorts of different ways that you guys can play games with me. I play on every platform. I've got it. Because, you know, I try not to be a fanboy of any consoles. I prefer Nintendo just because they put out polished games. But with that being said, I'm also kind of an Xbox fanboy. I'm also kind of a PlayStation fanboy. I also just love me some Blizzard games because those are primarily on PC. Battlefield is just, it's far superior on the PC. That's just a fact. That's the way I play it. I'm good as shit at Battlefield 3 and 4. I really am. Battlefield 1, not so much. I like it, but not a ton. But so packing's going very interestingly. I wanted to shoot a video on like how you package up a game collection. I mean, I have roughly, the last time I counted my collection, it was roughly around 1,200, and that had to have been, I don't know, 5-6 months ago. And if you've been subscribed for a while, you know how many games I buy a month. So, you know, it's probably, I don't know, 1,500 to 1,800 games at this point, somewhere in that ballpark, just between everything, handhelds, consoles, PC games. I don't own a lot of physical PC games, but back in the day, I used to buy them that way. But there's really no point because they just give you a Steam key anyway in the box. So there's really no point in buying physical PC games. But yeah, it's strange to pack up consoles and stuff because, you know, basically the way I did it was I just put the console itself into the box so that they don't get scratched, and then I put that into a big moving box, and that's how I'm kind of doing that. And like, if you've been subscribed for a while, you know that my greatest find of all time thus far was a sealed Steel Battalion for the Xbox for $250. Tonight I'm putting that back into its box. That will not be going into the moving truck. That will just be going into my personal car because I've wanted that ever since 2003, and that was the crown jewel of my collection, and like the holy grail for me was finally getting Steel Battalion. With that being said, the way my room is currently set up, I just don't have the capacity to play it. It's kind of a thing that you have to dedicate some time to play that game because you got to set it up. You need to put it on a table, even if that's just some of those little fold-out dinner tables. You need to have like 2 of those next to each other. You have to wear shoes while you're playing it to push the pedals, you know, well enough. And it's an effort to play Steel Battalion. It really is. It is highly worth it if you can track one down for. I would say I wouldn't personally pay any more than $250 for it. To me, the amount that you're going to play it is not worth more than $250. And that if you can get it for $250, you will always be able to sell it for $250. That has been the going rate for an open one for a long time. So if you buy it now for $250, it might be even worth even more in the future. But you will always be able to sell it for about $250. So the fact that I got one of those sealed was awesome. And go back and watch the unboxing video. It's pretty. You can tell that it's like a genuine unboxing video and how excited I am in that video. I was just cheesing the whole time. I've wanted that game for so long, and when I opened it up, and there's a huge thing between the blue button and the green button. The green button is more rare. It's the one the collectors want. And I knew it was the green button one, but like just to open it and be reassured that it was the green button one, it was truly awesome to open that. And it's just been, I've played it about 3 or 4 times since I'm looking at it right now, since I got it, and you know, I love it. I really do. It's a very challenging game. The controls are very hard to get used to. It's very strange to play until you get used to it. But once you do, it's awesome. I will probably make an actual review video for that at some point, but that'll be like a long, drawn out, full on, awesome review for it, because just speaking from the heart, it'll be just like an awesome review on that. A few of the other games that I'd like to do reviews on, you know, Conquer, Halo, and these are just like, these will be like from the heart reviews. Like those are Stubbs the Zombie, just like those are games that like I just cherish from my childhood. Those are like, not to say gaming molded me into the human that I am now, but I mean it kind of did. I've been a gamer my whole life. It will never change. This is who I am. This is what I love to do. This is my hobby. This is obviously your hobby if you're watching videos about it. You know, it's crazy how the gaming landscape has changed over the time. So I'm 27, about to be 28. Um, I started my gaming adventure when I was 4 years old. I got my Super Nintendo, and it still has. I was packing the box up. It still has. Back in the day, stores used to slap a sticker on it saying the date of purchase. It says 12/10/93. So I would have just turned 4 years old when my parents had bought that for me. Still have the original box. It's, aside from the Steel Battalion, it is my most cherished possession in my collection. If the house was burning down, the Super Nintendo box with my Super Nintendo would be the first thing that I would grab. But with that being said, so that's where I got my start, was on the Super. I didn't have another actual console until the GameCube in, I want to say it was '01, because I had gotten Metroid Prime, Godzilla Destroy All Humans, and Mario Sunshine were the 3 games I got for the Cube day one. Just fully fell in love with those 3 games. Nobody could touch me on Godzilla Destroy All Humans, that's a fact. Mario Sunshine, I've beaten that game too many times to count. And Metroid is my second favorite game of all time under Donkey Kong Country 1. And I know that's controversial. Most people are like, Donkey Kong Country 1 sucks. But in my opinion, it's the first game I ever played. It's the best game. It just does everything so right. The music, the gameplay, the atmosphere, the level design. It just does everything right. Same with Metroid Prime. Same with Sunshine. That's my third favorite game. Followed by Halo. And then Conquer. And I'll get into my top 10 eventually. There will be a top 10 eventually, but now you already know 4 or 5 of them. But yeah, gaming's just been a huge part of my life. So then I got the GameCube, and in between that time period, I got the Game Boy Color, and then I got Pokemon Red, then I got Pokemon Blue, then I got Pokemon Yellow, then I got Pokemon Trading Card Game, then I got Zelda, and that's how I got into Zelda. Was DX: A Link to the Past, I think it was called. And that was like my first Zelda. I never had Zelda on the Super, and then I never had it on the GameCube till later on. Never had a 64 till I bought it myself. I think I talked about that, or actually that was an unaired episode that I never actually did. I did an N64 buyer's guide, and I never actually put it out. And it was really good, but this was before I was like showing myself on the camera, and like my head just like popped into the video at one point, and I was just like, no, can't be having that. And then, so now that video's lost to time, so I'll have to reshoot that eventually. But so then I got the Cube around, I was either 11 or 12, somewhere in that time frame. And then the following year, I got a PS2, and then I think at that point they were like $200, maybe $250, and then I got a couple platinum hit games, so they were like $20 games, and then I got clothes and a bunch of other shit you didn't care about when you were 12. You just wanted that PlayStation 2. So then I got accumulated from all my uncles and aunts and grandparents and this. I got enough money to get a GBA SP, so they were still I have the AGS 001. The Onyx Black one. So that was my 4th technical, video game device. Then I got a paper route, and then I bought the OG Xbox. I want to say it was 2003 or maybe 2002. And at that point, my parents were just like, "Nope, you're buying all this shit on your own," and it spawned into kind of a nightmare. But so then I got the OG Xbox. Then I think it actually was before that. I got the Dreamcast and my Genesis and my NES, all in 1 year at the flea market that I still go to in my area. And that was back when hunting was cheap. I got my Genesis with like 15 boxed games and like 3 controllers. I still remember it to this day. Came with the RF cable, the power cable, and like 15 games for $20. And then a couple weeks later, I got the Dreamcast, and it was 12 or 13 games, 3 controllers, odd number, which is strange, and then it had 2 or 3 memory cards, 1 rumble pack, and the games. And I got that for $20. Like, gaming used to be cheap. The golden age of collecting is gone. I'm very glad that I got into it when I did, and I got all the games that I wanted for the most part. I'm still hunting out a few things. Like, I'd like to eventually get Earthbound and Final Fantasy 2 and some Mega Mans and this and that, but for the most part, I have pretty much everything that I want in my collection. I truly do. But aside from future games. But that's a topic for another video. But so then I got the Dreamcast for $20. And the funny thing is about my NES collection, I don't know if I've ever talked about this, but I think I have. It's actually not mine, and I got it from my childhood best friend. His name was Chris. I won't say his last name, but who knows? Maybe one day he'll stumble onto this video and be like, "I want that shit back." So he let me borrow the NES because in my basement when I was younger, I had you know, nice carpeted area, 3 couches, a nice little like egg chair. And my parents would buy us tons of sodas and ice pops and chips, and it was the place to be. It was like that 70s shows in my basement. Like it was the place to be. And I had a nice, I know this is laughable now, but the same year I got my GameCube, whatever Christmas that was, that's when my parents did all that. It was all used stuff, but or you know, the couches and the carpet and all, well, not the carpet, but the couches were all used and stuff. But so they set all that up for me, and then it was just the best Christmas. Like I got, so it was funny how my dad did it. Zoids were my shit at that time. If you know what Zoids are, they were little model kits, and you wind them up and fucking walk around and shit. That was the shit back in the early 2000s. So don't judge me. And do I still have those? I might actually still have them in a trunk. So yeah, so Zoids was the shit that year. I got like 3 or 4 of the big Zoids and a bunch of clothes and shit, and I'd been bugging my fucking parents for years to get me this GameCube. Well, not years, but so all right. So we got to backtrack a little bit. Every year after they announced the translucent N64s, I wanted the fucking green one with Donkey Kong because Donkey Kong was my favorite game. So it came with the Donkey Kong. It was $200, I think, for that, you know, bundle or whatever. For like 3 or 4 Christmases, I asked for that bundle. It was never under the tree. And then eventually I was like, I gotta get this GameCube thing. Chris has one. I gotta get it. So they get, you know, I open up all the Zoids in Christmas of 2001 or 2002. I forget which Christmas it was. And my dad's just like, all right, well, I think we might have left some of your other presents downstairs. So I go downstairs and I see, you know, the egg chair and the couches and stuff. And I'm thinking back on it, how the fuck did I not know that they were bringing couches into the house and all this other stuff? So then it completely slipped my mind that there was a 27-inch TV, and that's the part that I was going to say was laughable. CRT 27-inch RCA, which I still have. That's my retro TV, which will eventually be hooked up so I can play light gun games. So I completely just zoned out on that because I saw the box. I knew it was a GameCube. I knew it. And there was 3 games sitting, or actually there was 2 games sitting on it because my bundle came with Sunshine. So there was Godzilla and Metroid sitting on top, and then the extra, which is somewhat rare now, controller, which is the clear and the purple indigo controller. That was sitting next to it. And then he also bought me the strategy guide for Sunshine, which I still have the poster. Also, like, just prized possessions of mine because they bring back such good memories for me. Who knows if you guys are even going to like all this rambling. This is already a 22-minute video, but I'm enjoying talking about it. So I got the GameCube, and then next year I was like, all my friends aside from Chris had PS2, so I was just like, I gotta get the PS2. So I got the PS2, and then it wasn't enough. Then I got the Xbox, wasn't enough. And in that time period, I got the Genesis, the Dreamcast, and then we get on the NES. I completely botched that story and went past it. But so the NES, my friend, as I had this whole man cave set up downstairs, he's just like, you know what? My grandpa gave me this NES, and it was like his, but it was at his grandparents' house, so it was his NES. So he let me borrow it, right? And he probably gave me about, I want to say it was 22 games with it. So good stuff, like all the Marios, Platoon. I'd have to look at my collection to tell you, because I can still pick them out which ones were all the ones, like even for the Genesis, the Dreamcast, and the NES, which ones I got when I got the bundle, just because I remember playing the crap out of them. So he gave me that, and he kind of just left it here, and then years and years and years went by, and like he'd come over and play it, but he just left it here. And then we kind of just, eventually I started liking girls, and he was still just like super nerdy. I mean, you know, obviously I'm nerdy now still, but I'm more of a nerd now than I was back then, because, you know, I got really heavily into women and completely just forgot about video games for a few years there. Like, there were a few years where I just didn't even buy games at all. And but then eventually, obviously, it came back to me, and realized my one true love. But so eventually, you know, we had a falling out and just stopped talking because we just grew apart, which, you know, for any younger viewers, it just happens. Eventually you'll just grow apart from your friends. But so eventually one day I just emailed him, and I was just like, hey man, like, I still have your NES, do you want it back? And never responded, and you know, just never responded. So still have it. I've cleaned the crap out of it. I've actually Frankensteined it with multiple NESs to create the ultimate NES. It's still technically his guts and his lid, but I took the flap from another one and the bottom part, and I even have that little piece that fits into the bottom, and I've Frankensteined it many times to make it's a perfect looking NES. There's no dents or cracks or any scratches. The stickers are all good. It's amazing looking. But either way, had he said he wanted it back, I would have gave it to him because it was his NES. And wow, this is a 25-minute video. Usually I can't see the timer from here, but from where I usually shoot from. But so yeah, packing has just been interesting. It was cool to look, at the NES or the SNES manuals and the DK country manual and just the posters that are in there. Like, I still have all the paperwork, the baggies and everything's still in there. RCA cable, the original AV cable, and just all that stuff because I use SCART now, so all that stuff's been packed away for years. Yeah, gaming's just been such a big passion of mine for such a long time, and I just love talking about it, and now, made a channel, and I made the Backlog Summer Challenge to kind of help with myself by, I wouldn't really say I hoard games, but, some people would say that I do. I would also say that some other people do because I've watched certain channels and, they get these insanely rare games either sealed or opened, and then you never hear them talk about it again, and you never see them play it on a live stream or anything like that. And it's just like, why are you even collecting games if you don't even play them? So, like, in my mind, that hurts the collecting market to me by you not even actually playing the games that you buy. You're just sitting on them. So, like, that's kind of why I'm doing the Backlog Summer Challenge, because, like, I have all these games that I've bought over the years for many years. Like I said, I've been a gamer since I was 4 years old, and I'd say I started actively buying my own games when I was 10 to 12 years old because I had a paper route, and then I had another paper route, and I got my first job at 15 or 16. So, like, I've been buying my own way with games forever. I've been collecting, I hate to be that guy, but since before it was cool, like, I just have been, because it's just been a huge passion of mine for so long. And I just, like, everybody would always be, like, hooked on playing Xbox and PS2 and GameCube, but, like, I had an NES and a Genesis, and Dreamcast was already dead at that point, so, like, I had all that stuff, and honestly, I was playing Sonic 2 and, like, Shinobi and stuff like that more often than I would be the new stuff. But eventually, I'd get into Conker's and Halo and Xbox Live, and I can't wait to do the Xbox videos, because I dog on Xbox One a lot, but Xbox Original is SNES, GameCube, probably Xbox. So it's probably my third favorite system. It really is. And, like, it's weird because GameCube is the one that I have, like, a lot of memories with, but at the same time, original Xbox was, like, right there, just a teeny bit behind it, like a year or two behind it, to where I still have a ton of memories with that as well. Xbox Live with my other cousin, like, we used to play every weekend on Halo 2, and it was just excuse me, good times, just, like, good times, and just, like, I don't know, like, the 6th generation to me is the best gaming generation that will ever exist. I've played all the gaming generations. I have an Atari 2. I got that maybe a year or two ago, I don't know. But to me, it's just the best gaming generation. It was pre-DLC. It was, like, right on the cusp. Like, Xbox One and Dreamcast, or original Xbox and Dreamcast, had a teeny bit, but not much, and it wasn't groundbreaking if you didn't have it, and it wasn't, there were patches for games, but they still weren't, like, completely broken if you didn't have the patch. It would just be like one guy would, like, glitch in and out or something stupid, but they would fix it, and it was free, and but like I said, I can't wait to do these Xbox videos. I want your guys' input on them. Sorry for the huge rant. This is definitely 29 minutes at this point already. But just, I got a little bit more to pack. I got to pack under my bed shit and some books and, some other shit. But not too much stuff left. There really isn't. But, so this video's gone on pretty long, but I still kind of want to keep talking about stuff. But, just even, so, like, in packaging all my stuff up into the boxes and stuff, like, the Wii U, that's going to be a pain in the ass to, like, re-put that back in its box, like, all nicely and stuff, just because I love the Wii U. It's probably, I don't know, like, my 5th favorite system at this point in time. And handhelds are totally different. I count that as, like, not a console, because it's really not. I'd probably say my favorite handheld is the 3DS, probably the GBA second, probably the Game Boy Color third, probably the PSP, and then the Vita, and then the DS. Well, the DS and 3DS are kind of the same thing, really. But so that's totally different, scenario for me. But and then even like at a young age, I had our original PC, which was a compact. I don't even remember. We got it in like Christmas of '99, so I was 9 years old. StarCraft was a big thing at that point in time. I was huge into StarCraft 1, like huge. Played that shit every day for like 3 or 4 hours a day with my buddy Chris. And he actually got me into it, and I just remember playing the crap out of that. I actually got pretty good at it for a while. I'm kind of salty at StarCraft 2, but I do enjoy it. And I do love StarCraft 64. On the 64, I picked that up right before the price boom. I got mine for like 25 bucks. Yeah, so collecting used to just be so awesome. It just was, and it still is. And like John Hancock and Reggie and some other random guy made a video on this the other day about, is collecting still fun? And it is, but it isn't. I don't like right now. As soon as I get done with the OG Xbox, I think I might focus a little bit more on the Wii U. But it's kind of at this weird cusp of like, is it still even fun to collect for the Wii U? So many people jumped in on it. Like, I knew day one when I got the Wii U, I was going for a full set. I got the Wii U the day it came out, and I committed to a full set. I think I'm around 100 games, and there's around 100, and I want to say I might very well be over 100. There's, I think, 35 games left on my list to complete it. There are certain things that'll never happen, like Mario Kart 8 Limited Edition, the Hyrule Warrior Limited Edition. It's never going to happen. I don't care. That can be excluded from everybody's full set because Nintendo was a bunch of cucks with that and didn't, let the average guy get it unless you lived in New York, basically, or another country. So that isn't really part of the full Wii U set, in my opinion. And even collecting the Skyliner boxes, I'm good on that. Like, I'll get the game and complete, DVD case with the manual in the game, but I don't need the box and all the Skyliners and shit. I have a couple because I did get one box because it was like $4 at Goodwill. But I just collecting is it still fun? Like that, I kind of want to make a dedicated video to that too. But a brief synopsis of it: yes and no. Like, I do want to finish off the Wii U set, and that'll be cool because like I already have all the heavy hitters. I've had them before they were expensive. And like SNES being my first system, I still want to build that system up. There's still a lot of things that I'd like to try on that, like things that I remember wanting as a kid, like Illusion of Gaia, Secret of Mana, or actually I just picked up Illusion of Gaia, so I still need to find Secret of Mana. Like, that's something I want to find at some point in my life. I don't know the actual active price of that. I want to say it's probably at least 30 to 70 bucks, somewhere in that ballpark, which is an awful price. That's probably realistically what it went for back in the day. But I want to find some more SNES games at some point in time. But the prices are just getting outrageous. Like, I kind of almost just want to buy EverDrives and get rid of all my games. I mean, or at least my cartridge games. Like, it's just almost no point at this point in time because so many people are jumping into the hobby, which is awesome. I want people to jump in. I make videos so that people, enjoy them and hear about my experiences with different games and this and that. But it's just like, it's gotten to the point where there's just so many people collecting, but there's just not a big enough supply to support everybody who wants to collect these games. I don't know if Nintendo or Sega has the ability, which I assume they would, or even Atari for that matter, or NEC, to reproduce these cartridges. Personally, it wouldn't bother me if I were to buy a reproduced one by Nintendo, Sega, Atari, or NEC, or any of the other people that made cartridge games. It wouldn't bother me. Personally, I'd rather have all brand new ones reproduced, from an official source, because they'd have new batteries in it. It would be new solder. It would be new batteries. I already said that. The pins would be all nice. I would get rid of all my old copies and get brand new ones. Like, I don't know why Nintendo hasn't tapped into this market yet. And with the SNES Mini coming out, the Game Boy Mini is going to come next. Then the 64, then the Game Boy Advance Mini, and so forth and so forth. I think Nintendo could test the market with reproducing some cartridges. If they were to reproduce like Earthbound cartridges and reproduce like the limited edition with the stickers and the guidebook and all that bullshit, they could probably sell those for $200 a pop. I'd buy one for sure. I don't think there are many collectors who wouldn't buy one if it was like an official reproduction. Um, I feel like that's an awesome idea for Nintendo to try. I don't know if they would. Obviously, they're not going to hear it from my small channel, but I think it would be a cool idea for them to try to do that. Like, just, reproduce Chrono Trigger. Like, I would love to own that complete in box. I just got the game at 100 and I kind of bundled it with a bunch of games, but I paid the guy like $180, I think it was, for like 8 games total. So like, I probably paid 100-ish for Chrono Trigger, which is a really good deal. But I would love to own the box and the manual and all that stuff, but it's just not doable anymore. And like NES games, I pick those up very rarely. Same with 64 games. Every once in a while I pick them up, but it's just like N64 is finally getting to the point where it's getting ridiculous to collect for. Within the next 2 or 3 years, I'm calling it now, I think 64 will actually supersede the SNES prices, because the people that are collecting now actively are people, for instance, like Tight White's age. I want to say he's easily in his 30s or 40s. So like, he grew up on probably Atari and NES, right? And then like PlayStation 1. So like, all that stuff and back is stuff that he like grew up with and loves. Like me personally, I grew up with the SNES, the 64, and the Cube. So that's like where all my love for gaming goes. Like, and Atari and NES, I care about it, but not as much as like the Super, you know what I mean? So like, I don't really dedicate a lot of my collection and my money to those older systems. But I could be just guessing at that, but like, what I'm getting at is like, those older people aren't really like into collecting the 64. So like, people my age in their late 20s to mid 30s are, was the prime generation that the 64 was out when they were like a child or whatever. So like, now they're getting to the age where they have disposable income and they want to collect these games. So I'm kind of calling it now. N64 is going to be the next thing that bumps up in price. So if I were you, I would start collecting them now. That's why I have about 70 or 80 N64 games, and I have most of the first party titles. And that's another funny story. I got my 64, I want to say it was my junior year of high school. I essentially bought $20 worth of weed, so a gram of weed, and traded a guy a gram of weed for an N64 with 17 games, 3 controllers, 1 memory card, 1 rumble pack. Had the 8 megabyte, or was it 4 or 8? No, it was 4 to make it a total of 8 megabytes. And no, it wasn't my weed. I wasn't a drug dealer. I bought the weed and then bought the 64 with the weed, which in hindsight I could have just gave him the $20 to buy the weed, but whatever. So basically, I got an N64 for a gram of weed, which is like, you can't even get an N64 for $70 now. Like, they're $60, $70 just for the 64 alone, without the memory expansion, like just with 1 controller too. So I'm talking, I got Pokemon Stadium, Smash Bros, Mario Kart, Kirby, Yoshi, Banjo. I think he had Banjo-Tooie, Castlevania, like just all the good games. I got all that for $20. It was insane. Like, those were the days of collecting that I miss, and they're just not going to happen anymore. That's just the way the market is. People have, as Americans, or even if you live in other countries, as you get older, you have more disposable income. I want to spend it on what I love. I love gaming. I spend it on gaming. Here in the near future, I'm going to beef up my PC because I still love playing Battlefield. I want to play it at 120 frames a second. It's just not good enough to play Battlefield at 60. To me, it needs to be played at 120 or plus. But, I'm playing it comfortably around 80 right now, but I'd like it to be a little more. But, this is a super long video at this point in time. I just kind of feel like I haven't made a video in a while, even though it's only been a couple days, but I just love making videos now. But, and then, like, just even getting more deeper into my closet and stuff, like, I just found, like, a lot of Club Nintendo stuff, and, like, I miss that, man. Like, I packed up all my Club Nintendo posters, and I'm looking at the Pikmin tote bag that I got for, I don't know, whatever, the year of 2014, I think it was, maybe. And it's a cool little tote bag. I'd probably never bring it out in public, but I bring it to, like, carry systems when I go to, like, on vacations and stuff. And yeah, I bring my consoles on vacation.
like as a kid, I would always I would never go anywhere without my GameCube. It would go everywhere with me, everywhere. Always playing Mario Party, Kirby's Air Ride, Godzilla Destroy All Humans, Smash Bros. Like if I was going somewhere, that GameCube was with me in some bag somewhere or in the vehicle or something. But yeah, collecting's just become this whole crazy market. Like it's still fun, but it's just like there's just not enough supply for the people to get these games anymore, and it's just as older people die off, obviously their collection will get put back into the wild, and I have seen this happen. There was actually a lady when I went to Power Gamer in Maryland, which is now shut down, unfortunately. It was the retro store that I mainly got most of my Xbox collection before it was expensive. Not that it's expensive, but it is getting expensive. Trust me when I say that 64 and OG Xbox are going to be the next game consoles to rise in price. So collect them now. Like I've gotten most of my Xbox games for like $3 or $5 is usually what they're marked at, and mark my words, they're not going to be that cheap much longer. But so this lady brought in all these games, and I had just come in right when they were like ringing her out, and everybody was being friendly and talking, and I was just like, oh, you care if I just look in there? And so they had the Batman game for N64, which I've been wanting for a while. They had Dracula X, I think it is, which is the rarer Castlevania game for the Super. I think that's what it's called. And that's pricier game. And they had the Final Fantasy and the Chrono Trigger. And yeah, I know you guys totally just heard that fart, but I don't care. And if you didn't now, you know I farted. And just like a few other random things. But the heavy hitter that was in the box was a motherfucking 64DD. I freaked out when I saw that. I've never seen one in person. And I was just like, oh my god! So she had the 64DD, and like, I think this was roughly around the time that Metal Jesus found the US prototype, so I was just like, this old black lady has a 64DD. Did I just somehow find a US prototype 64DD? No, I would never get rid of it. And so I was freaking out about it, and then she didn't actually sell it to them. She sold all the games, but she kept the DD because the guys were honest with her. Like, this is rare as fuck. You can get way more on it eBay than we can give you, which is really honorable of them to do that. And then I was just like, lady, what you want for that? So we agreed on a price of $250, which is insane because I'm pretty sure those are $600 to $900 if I'm not mistaken. So yes, I was kind of jipping her down a little, but. And I immediately called Nico, and I was just like, dude, 64DD! And he had no fucking idea what that is. But either way, I was pumped about it. So I didn't have any more cash on me. There was no ATMs near me. So I was just like, look, let me get your cell phone number. I'll call you tomorrow. Called her tomorrow. Her son picks up. I don't know how to word this, sketchy sounding. But I was just like, 64DD, the temptation's too real. So I made my big, huge friend come with me. The kind of guy you wouldn't want to mess with. So I made him come with me. Ends up no showing. They call me later. Oh, we ain't had time to come. So I was just like, okay. So, can we still meet up or whatever? Needless to say, you've never seen my 64DD because it never happened. So that was just one crazy story that happened too. But, that was at Power Gamer, and just... and the demise of that store is because they eventually started charging too much, and then they just had shit games. Like, their PS2 wall was just solid sports games. They didn't even have Need for Speed games. It was just solid sports games. And I'm talking like 1,000 PS2 sports games. That's all they had. Their PS1 collection was fucking garbage. It was just terrible. Nothing good in this store ever. It was just awful. But I don't know. Just collecting has just grown into this wild beast that's just, it's never going to be the same. And just so many memories just collecting these things and bringing Nico into the fold of collecting. It's truly awesome to like have somebody I can just call and be like, hey dude, I just found Call of Cthulhu for $30. And then, like, that's awesome. That's cheaper than the going rate for it. Not by much, but a little bit. And like when I found Jurassic Park for $80, that was awesome. Unfortunately, the disc was fucked up and I had to return it. But whatever. So there are good deals out there to be found still, but they are very rare. They really are. I mean, or the time I got the GameCube bundle, I paid $10 for that. I completely forgot about that. That was probably one of my better finds aside from the Steel Battalion. $10 for Purple GameCube. The buttons were all stuck, so I scrapped the GameCube. I took all the little panels off the bottom to keep in case mine ever break, which I don't think they would, but I kept them anyway. So the buttons were all broken. It did work, but you couldn't shut it because the open button was broken, the reset button was stuck in, the power button was stuck in. So as soon as you plugged it in, it would power on. So that system was not long for this world anymore. So I ended up just throwing it away. I know. I feel bad for it, but it saw its time. It was its time to go. So ended up getting $10 for this. Had a Platinum Wavebird, which I actually did in a giveaway. And then I had Sunshine, Luigi's Mansion, a bunch of stupid Disney games, some Nickelodeon shit. I had one or two SpongeBob games, Wario game, which I really wanted, Smash Bros. I think, did I say that? I don't know. Needless to say, I ended up flipping 90% of it and then giving away the Platinum Wavebird because I want to have a full matching set of the gray ones. The Platinum ones never did it for me. I don't like them. The sweat and just, the paint rubs off, and I just never liked the Platinum ones. Even the Platinum GameCube. To find one of those mint nowadays is pretty much impossible. So, to me, the Platinum GameCubes are the worst looking. They're also the worst out of the consoles because they don't have the component cable hookups. Or very few of them do. If you find one that has the component hookups and it's a Platinum one, those are pretty uncommon. They only made those for a few months, to my understanding. But, I don't know. Just collecting is just a crazy thing now. It really is. Or I've gotten, I've definitely picked up a lot of lots in my life. Recently, it was right before I started the channel. Picked up 100 NES games for it was 50 NES games for $100. I flipped a few of them, but I kept quite a few of them too. Like I got Darkwing Duck, DuckTales, a few other, not pricey games, but sought after games. Unfortunately, no Mega Mans or anything like that, but there was some good games in there, Bubble Bobble, and just, games that people the ones you actually want to play. So that was another good deal that I had done. But so I don't want to discourage anybody by saying that the collecting is just not fun anymore, and this and that. But it's just not where it used to be. But it is still fun and this and that. But so as far as collecting goes, the deals can still be found, but it is very seldom that you're going to find them. It really is. Like I know Wood Baron Retro, good channel, good guy. He found Earthbound. I forget for how much, but it was like an insanely cheap price, and he got like the big box and everything. And you can get lucky out there, but it's very rare with modern day internet and TV shows like Storage Wars, where they're just like, oh, dude, I got $45K for this storage locker worth of video games. Now everybody's going to think those games are worth that much, when in reality, Smash Bros. For the 64 is probably the top 5 most selling games for the 64. There's no reason it should cost $100. I'm sorry, it shouldn't. Mario 64, it shouldn't cost what it costs. It just shouldn't. Like, I could see. I'm just trying to think of like some games for the 64 that are like that are actually uncommon. Like Mischief Maker. That's a pretty uncommon game, but it's relatively cheap. I do recommend it, by the way. You're probably not going to find that in the wild. Like, you're going to have to buy that on the internet, and it's still only a $20 or $30 game. That's something I could foresee going up in price a lot. Is Mischief Maker, Win Back, things like that for the 64. And for the OG Xbox, another thing that I wanted to touch on was, when I do the video, I'm going to have like, this is the year this came out. What I would say 30% of the games that are exclusive to the Xbox are truly exclusive, and they are only available on the Xbox. And what do I mean by that? I mean that 70% of them were also on the PC. But as far as physically owning it for a console, 100% of them will only be on the Xbox. Or next generation systems after that, but that doesn't count. I mean, like, what I mean by exclusive is during that generation that it was only on that specific home console. So that's what I mean by that. But I'm going to have like the price range, what I paid for it, the release dates, how rare I truly think it is, and that kind of stuff. Like a nice little picture and that kind of stuff. you're going to be very surprised with what is actually truly rare for the Xbox. It's not the games that most people think. Nico and I have been hunting for it actively for a year. I have been collecting for it personally since I was like 13. Way back then, I wanted to get all the games that were only for Xbox. I just thought that was cool. And, now I'm almost done at this point in my life. So it's really exciting. It really is. It's going to be one of the crowning achievements of my collection to have all those, because in a way, me and Nico are kind of pioneers with it, because there are no other lists. There really aren't. Like, I will be the one making the actual list. We already have the list. Both of us have the list. I've had a few other YouTubers ask for it, but sadly, you're not getting the list until I complete the list. And that just is how it is, because I need to complete the list because I made the list. Nico and I made the list. And of course, oddly enough, his list is a little bit different than mine. He's counting certain things that I don't think count, like Ninja Gaiden Black. You only really need to buy Ninja Gaiden Black because it's a superior version. Fable and Fable Lost Chapters. You only need to buy Fable Lost Chapters because it's a superior version. So to me, those are really, he has them as 4 games. I only have it as 2. So, not dragging down his list, but mine will be like, the right list in the sense, because technically you need to have both copies, but in reality, it's kind of stupid to have, both of them when you really could just get the superior version that has the full DLC and all that shit, which is cool. Like, I miss that about gaming too, where you would get, like, Fable Lost Chapters, you got the DLC on the disc with the patches, and you didn't need to update it anymore. Gaming is not like that anymore, and I'm not done with current generation. Like, I still am loving it, but it's just, all these games are going to be shit in 10 years because you're not going to be able to, your PS4 breaks, you throw in a new hard drive, it's good again. You're not going to be able to download all the patches for Final Fantasy 15, and it's going to be a buggy monstrosity. So there's no point in even collecting for the current generation. There really isn't. Even the Switch games, a lot of those need patches already. Like, I just updated Mario Kart 8 again. Granted, that's probably for online features, so that's something, whereas the single player is probably 100% fine on the cartridge. Same with Zelda. It's probably 100% fine on the cartridge. There's with minor glitches or something. But, the current generation is just, it's a whole nother nightmare. And to be honest, I think we're in the 9th generation already. Like, the Switch it is the 9th generation of gaming. Like, no one's really touched on that yet, but we're in the 9th generation of gaming. Nintendo has always really been the one who starts the generation for the most part, aside from, well, actually, I guess that's not really true. They really only, Master System came out first too. So I guess they really never started any generations except for the Game Boy. Because the Game Gear came out after, and then the Lynx was later on too. So I guess maybe they never have started a console generation, except for now. So I guess they're the first one of the 9th generation of consoles. Unless you count the PS4 Pro and the Scorpio, which to me are really 9th generation consoles. But I won't be buying those myself. Unless they come out with a sexy ass Halo 6 Xbox Scorpio. Or, I don't know, like a God of War PS4 Pro. Then yeah, I'll probably get those. I'm not going to lie. But, well, actually, with PlayStations, I like to just get the nice solid colors. Like, I have the pure white PlayStation 4 and the pure gold one. And I had a white PS2 Slim at one point in time, which I kind of regret getting rid of at this point. I think I sold it for like $25, but I got it for free, so still kind of made out. But now we're at 53 minutes of a video. I highly doubt any of you will watch this. But if you do, let me know that you watched the whole video. And peace out for now, guys. Until next time. Let me know your opinions on any of the things that I touched on in the video as well. And also, as well, let me know how you want me to do the Xbox exclusive videos, whether it be the alphabetical or 1, 2, 3, 4 parts, or just Alex, do it however you feel like doing it. Let me know. Peace out. See you guys. Probably 2 weeks.
Come here, you mother...